Damn. Okay,
I'm
looks
wondering
like...
how I should introduce myself. That's what I'm thinking.
Actually, I got it. I already wrote it down.
Oh
Okay.
my.
Okay,
This'll
here we
be
go, guys.
interesting.
And welcome back, everybody. This is OLDBOB 10025 with the First Circuit Podcast number 3. And our special guests today are Team Red Shirt, where every day he loses one more team member. We have the Hyperpulse Uplink, a name I will always spell out. And we have Bonnie de... I can't even spell your name. Bonnie de Bunny. Bonnie de Bunny. A man who has a reward set up just for him and old Bob, where he is his own potato. So we're going to be talking about the clan tech and how it affects everything in game and your mechs themselves, the gameplay, and the people that you play with as well. So first, we're going to go with Christian and just say just a tiny bit about yourself, and then what you want to go pick up as far as weapon wise.
Hi, my name's Christian, and I run the Hyperpulse generator.
Hyperpulse Center, you said it. Yes, you said it.
I had to, but yeah, I've been into BattleTech ever since like the mid '90s with Mechwarrior 2 on the PC. So grew up with this franchise. I love it. You want me to just get right into the tech stuff and get some clan stuff?
Whatever you think is best for you, man.
Oh man, okay, clan side.
We could always do some patch note stuff if you wanted. Oh, hey, it's Lemming.
Oh, and we have Commander Lemming, the man, the legend, the meme. Commander Lemming as well is going to join us.
The walking meme.
The walking meme.
Oh, fuck.
Man, I guess the easiest place to start with the clan tech would be ATMs, because those are really straightforward from what I've seen. Basically, I ran them on my Mad Dog. I haven't released a video yet, but I ran them on my Mad Dog trying to emulate the 6LRM5 fire support build, and they just flat out do not work as fire support weapons. Their trajectory is way too flat. So it's pretty much just equip them on a mixed build, kind of like if you guys have seen like people play Timbers that have like energy weapons, but then they keep the LRM10s to keep the look of the mech.
Yeah.
And then when you see them engage, they use the energy weapons first, and then as they're done with their burn, you establish a lock, and then you fire the LRMs as you're coming back into cover. I think ATMs are going to be the same way. It's just that they're going to provide a bigger bonus, because obviously they're going to do 3 damage per missile, and then 2 as the range increases, and finally down to 1. So I think those are pretty straightforward. I don't know if anyone else wants to jump in on that topic, or we can go to something else.
The arc thing, or the trajectory of them really took some getting used to, and I actually got the most success when I put them on a Shadowhawk or Shadowcat.
Oh, okay.
And was just jumping. So I jumped to the point where I was a little above who I was shooting at, grabbed my lock on the way up and let go, and then hit back down. It was really the weirdest pop-tarting I've ever done.
Well, pop-tarting with missiles, come on.
Yeah.
I was about to say
so
that
fast.
pop-tarting with missiles is a very interesting concept, especially since I've been around since Mechwarrior 2 31st Century Combat.
Oh, you're just a baby then.
I have never even thought or considered pop-tarting with missiles until the ATs came out, and holy shit are they annoying. Not only are they annoying to use, but they're also annoying to fight against, in my opinion. But that's my little quote on that. Odd concept and odd weapons in general.
And how about you, like Commander Lemming?
For me, okay, sorry, I was setting something up, but for me, the ATMs, with how popular AMS and laser AMS is right now, the very low missile count of ATMs really sucks ass. Like, you're not gonna get the kind of, and the low ammo count as well, with only 90 per ton, makes it so that even though, yeah, your missiles can do 2 damage apiece and they can have more pinpoint damage, because of that low missile count, if people have AMS, they can just completely cancel it out. So even using it as like a backup weapon, like Christian was saying, isn't quite the same as like having dual LRM 10s, because Now you have to dedicate a bunch more tonnage if you want to have an actual number of missile tubes that'll break through a single AMS.
Yeah, actually, I've been noticing that too. Like with my Nova build, it has one laser AMS and 2 normal ones. I want them to come towards me. Like with the with the ATMs, I just blow them out of water. And they either need to actually increase the velocity of the ATMs or actually increase the damage that they can take, because I'm not even scared of those things. I see a mech with that, I just like, whatever, man. It doesn't bother me.
Velocity at least is higher than normal LRMs, which is nice.
Yeah,
and
true.
The spread is much better. It's supposed to be sort of like higher quality LRMs at this point.
I guess. I was surprised how long their range was. I do have to say that. I didn't catch that before.
1100, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't really use it with the arc, though.
No, no.
Unless you're on top of, like, say, a big mountain or side or something like that.
That was pretty much when I saw the range increase. I was like, "Oh, these should be really good." And then I go into game and I'm like, "Oh, hey, a target." I go to fire and it just goes straight into the fucking side of the wall. And I'm like, now I see why the range is so long. To fuck with your head and get him to buy.
Exactly.
No shit.
Here, sir. You want better range on missiles? Here, take this. I swear, he's good weapon. He's good, sir. All right, let me try.
Okay, so we got the ATMs. That was the clan version stuff. Let me like, what other type of clan weapons are good and bad? Obviously, we're gonna be talking about the heavy lasers and the micro lasers. So let's go ahead and go off with the heavy lasers. What do you guys think? Good and bad? Bad, good, like whatever.
That's a pretty hot subject, in my opinion.
Now, why is that though?
I don't know. It's just, I see so many people running around with those things, and honestly, they're the best mechs to use flamers on. Like, with my Nova, I have 6 flamers, 6 small lasers, and anytime I see a mech with more than 1 ER large laser, I just go right at him. I'm like, alright, fire at me, let me shut you down and blow your cockpit open.
Okay.
Like, I just can't understand, because when I first used ER lasers, I thought, oh, these are probably going to generate some heat, but I think I'll be okay. I shot 3 at one time on my Shadowcat and powered down instantly. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to mess with these. So that's my opinion on it. They're very hot, even though the range is very nice. But,
yeah.
Or not range, but damage is very nice.
And Christian?
I mean, heavy lasers, it's just a crutch for winning your trades. That's all it really is. It makes any clan mech have probably like a 15 to 25% higher alpha when you're running laser-centric builds, but it's terrible when you push it. It's one of those builds that, like, if you play aggressive against it, it will fall apart because their heat dissipation, most of the builds I've seen, they're just swapping out heavy lasers in place of the ERs, and they're not increasing the heat sink count to match, so they're running really hot, and if you allow them to cool off, they're devastating. If you let that mech reset after each shot, it will do work on your team, but it's one of those things where, like, you have to recognize that is its fundamental weakness, and you have to pressure that mech out of the gates really hard, and if you do, it will fall apart. And I noticed that because I had a 1v1 with someone, and I noticed that, like, in a duel scenario, I would honestly prefer to run the regular ERs, because at least the mediums and the larges for right now share the exact same 3.75 second cooldown, so they line up perfectly. You can sync them up perfectly every time. If you just wait a half second for the Gauss charge to come back, you can sync all 3 weapon groups up like that perfectly in a one-on-one fight, so you can you can pinpoint your damage. Yeah, I mean, it's good when it's in its envelope, but it's one of those things like, it's like a old school LRM boat. If you recognize that it's kind of by itself, get somebody to close the distance and pressure it and kill it. It's just one of those things you have to be aware of its strengths and its weaknesses and not let them play to their strengths.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that too. Like, I had a linebacker and someone's typing.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Very viciously.
I had a linebacker.
Vicious typer.
Viciously. You're a big meme guy, so you got to type all his memes, right? But the I just feel that basically like I tried a linebacker with the two heavy lasers and then two medium heavy lasers, and I just feel that basically when I used it, it was just like you said, I folded as soon as someone actually pressured me, and I think that with the duration on the 1.55 for the heavy large lasers, for the 18 points of damage, you really have to sink it just in one spot if he's not moving. But I feel that if you're gonna go ahead and use those heavy lasers, it's better just to use a clan ER PPC. Has longer range, it does 10 points on a single shot, and also has splash. And so you're looking at pinpoint damage, well not pinpoint damage, but damage pinpoint a lot better than you do with the heavy laser, because everyone with the duration for the heavy lasers, they're torso twisting like crazy. So you're doing like 2 points of damage per section. It's really not even worth it. That's my take on it.
Yeah, when it came to the heavy lasers, I haven't touched smalls, and heavies felt too hot, and they didn't feel like they had enough range. For what I was going for on most of my builds. Like, I'm not gonna crowbar any weapon into a build because that's a recipe for disaster. But yeah, I think it was Christian who was saying when people were just replacing ER larges with heavy larges, that's crowbarring a weapon into a build, and that's not what you're looking for. Because exactly like he says, you're just going to overheat, so you need a mech that has the heat capabilities, and the heavy large laser feels like a weird short but almost long range
Medium
weapon.
range. I think that's the best way to put it.
Medium, but almost long. Yeah, and it was just, I couldn't find a spot for it. It has really heavy pinpoint damage. It does, did the calculation a long time ago, but it does more pinpoint damage than an ER large in about 0.75% of the time, or 0.75, 75% of the time. Anyway, but I just couldn't find a spot for it. Mediums, though, heavy mediums are great. I love them. They're a little bit heavy on heat, but not heavy so that it overpowers your entire build. It's 10 damage, 10 pinpoint.
Yeah.
And
if you can keep duration
specifically. Yeah, if you can keep the laser on them. Can't talk specifically about builds because I got another video cooking up. But, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
I was gonna say, I'm glad you mentioned the cooldown and stuff, because that was the biggest problem I had with the heavy large, was, well, that and slots, actually. Christian, you were talking about some of the meta builds, they're just kind of crowbarring in there, to steal a phrase, to the heavy large laser in, and I think the biggest problem is you can't just swap it out, because you lose at least one heat sink in the swap, right? Like my Timberwolf, even switching from large pulse lasers, we were doing those builds, and I spent a day trying to figure out a way to make a heavy large build like that, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
He infected me. He made me play a meta build.
And
then I did it again.
Uh-oh.
And then we did it again and again.
And how'd it turn out for you, though?
Repeat.
It's not my favorite playstyle, because I like to mix it up, and I like to be able to have, mixed range and kind of curve my heat rather than spike it the way the meta builds do. Right? But it's rewarding at times. I'll give it that. It's nice to be able to just go, oh, hey, there's a guy up there. Oh, and he melted. Okay, cool. That feels good.
He exploded just like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, he was trying to hide, and I hit the top of his. My favorite was the Jaegermech, the thing on top of the Jaegermech.
Jaegermechs are such easy targets.
Poking up above, and melt. It was great.
Oh, jeez.
Kind of felt sorry for the guy.
Okay, so oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say that I think that we're gonna see a lot of people try and use heavy large lasers with those builds, and then find their way back to the mediums and large pulse, because the cooldown's all close to itself, the burn time's pretty close. All the reasons why that was a good build are not going to be affected by the presence of heavy lasers.
Well, also too, I mean, a ton for ton. Basically, you're looking at like a normal ER medium laser, that's 1 ton, and then then you have like medium laser as well. Ton for ton, I mean, 10 points compared to, let's see, 7 points. You're looking at three extra more damage. That's why you're probably seeing a lot of people switch out, basically different things, like all their builds to heavy mediums.
Yep, I will say that my Hunchback 2 CB, that's the one, the energy one. I put four heavy mediums and 2 heavy larges, and just jack the heat sinks in. That thing's awesome.
Oh, really?
It runs relatively cool. You kind of have to. It's got the nice top mount that makes it a good build anyway. And you have time to burn out and then let yourself cool down a bit. You don't quite have 2 alphas, but you're damn close. I think it's 1.4.
Yeah, true. I just found I just folded as soon as I was pushed, man. That's the thing I found with it. Just like what Chris was saying, it's like I folded like a deck of cards, man. Boom, done.
The nice thing about the 2Cs is, like, I was able to. I mean, I put a big standard or a big XL engine in it with that build as well, right? So I got some engine heat sinks, and that gives me that opportunity to go, oh shit, I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
That's something we need to talk about, is the light XLs. Like, holy crap.
Oh.
Well, basically we're going to get to, like, we're just going through the clans real quick. And,
I know, I'm just saying we need to talk about those.
What do we got next?
We got next is any of the, micro lasers, either Pulse or the normal ER. So I'll let anyone go ahead and jump on that.
Novas are fun with micro lasers.
You could always have fun with micro
what
lasers.
Else do you say?
And we'll go with tags as well, too. Tags for the Commander Lane.
We cannot underestimate the power that light tag has to create salt in this community. It's amazing.
Oh my god, Lemming, dude, your video on that is just fucking amazing.
So I get in this build, and oh my god.
For those who don't know, do you want to say what the build was?
Oh, the build was 15 light tags, 1 ATM 12, and 1,700 rounds of ammo for said ATM 12.
I love it. I love it.
And what happened was that I made this video and I edited the shit out of it, but it was painstaking to play these matches because you'd go through, and since it was hours after the patch, where you get all the really, really try-hard people that come in, the people that play to win and not for fun, and
Ew.
So many of them started to lose their shit at me. And it was worth it, so I just kept going with it, of course. And, if I would have gotten banned for it, I would have had all the footage, and I could have just submitted it to the mods and said, I never broke your terms of service, I'm just playing the game the way I want to play it.
Exactly.
And,
the thing is, if
I love
you
that there's
added...
a thought.
Sorry. If you added a narc to that little setup you had going, you could have easily been the ultimate support mech.
An advanced zoom.
Dire support.
Advanced zoom. You needed to get advanced zoom.
We're in dire need of your support. I'm on it. I'll be there in the next 10 minutes.
If anyone has found a use for micro ERs, please enlighten me, because I don't see the purpose to micro ERs. Micro pulses?
You mount them on your elementals, don't you know? Oh, wait.
Yeah. Well, there's no elementals, but
what elementals?
Well, I would like to say something about the micro category of lasers. I think that the micro pulse in specific have a lot of benefits, but they're just in the wrong meta. I'm just gonna summarize the same things I said in my video. If this was pre-skill tree, pre-engine decoupling, and all that stuff, it would have been a phenomenal light mech to take out other light mechs that went back hunting. But due to a convergence of factors of every mech takes more time to kill because it has more structure, more armor. Light mechs have the least amount of heat sinks, so they when you jack up the time it takes to kill something, they suffer the most. They lost agility relative to the other weight classes. They're much easier to hit now.
True.
Everyone seems to be carrying LRMs on them because the mechs are less agile. They can't just avoid LRMs all the time. You can get relatively consistent hits with them. So that, coupled with the change to ECM for light mechs, has rendered it impossible to find isolated mechs on the enemy team and one-on-one them, which is really what the micro pulses good at. You know, it's got very good DPS, has very good pinpoint damage, but it requires a sustained engagement to take advantage of the DPS, and you can no longer get that because anytime you find someone one-on-one, they're gonna call down the rain. Someone's gonna have enough LRMs on their team to just squash your little light mech, and that's really frustrating. So I think they're phenomenal weapon systems, but they're just in the wrong meta right now, and it really sucks. And I don't think they're even viable on anything. Like, you can try to make them work on something like an Arctic Cheetah or maybe a Mistlynx.
Yeah.
But realistically, anything heavier than that is just asking to get killed, because with a 90-meter effective range, you are exposing yourself to so many more cones of fire from enemy mechs. You're just dead. Like, dead. So I think they're fantastic, but they're just in the wrong meta. If this was pre all these patches that changed the agility and survivability, they've been amazing. But currently,
I just like that seems like an issue with light mechs themselves. I was just wondering, because like I looked at them compared to ER smalls, and they just don't have anything statistically that would really draw me, other than, yeah, it's lighter, but I just couldn't find anything for them. Like, maybe you get like a little more extra ammo in your Lerm boat, or...
Yeah. Well, I know myself. I've been using ER micro lasers on my Nova build, testing them out, and kind of doing that kind of thing. I give it 10. I mean, at a quarter ton, it's very nice with the optimal range of 150 and the max range 300. But I run the Nova as a support build, so I'm hanging out by the assaults and soaking up the missiles, and then kind of doing damage against whatever I can. It's been harder, don't get me wrong, than ER like medium lasers, but it's been kind of working out and kind of not. It's just I'm still up in the air. I got to do more footage for it though. Okay. So okay. Now we got the clan weapons, which I think the heavy machine guns obviously will be good and bad, and the light machine guns as well, replacing everything. You guys have any thoughts on the heavy and light machine guns just for the clans?
I think those are self-explanatory,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Oh, definitely.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Everyone's switching them out. Everyone's switching out their own machine guns for that kind of stuff.
Heavy machine guns I run on my Chili, which is my Cinder. Before I just had the normal machine guns. I tried out the light ones, but oh god, fucking dog. I tried out the light ones, but they just don't work as well as the heavies do. The biggest problem with the heavies is, oh fucking dog. Can you hear him, by the way? Just wondering.
Yeah, it's
really.
okay.
A little bit, but...
Oh, dude, no, come on. Yeah,
but
it's all good.
The only problem I have really with the heavy machine guns is the fact that their range is so small, and 1 ton equals only 1,000 rounds, which I kind of get because it is the heavy machine gun. But it'd be nice if there'd be maybe 1,500 per ton. I think that'd be pretty nice. I don't really care about the range. The damage is really nice though. And with my Chili, I run 3 medium pulse lasers, so I rip open the back of whoever I'm fighting, and then just hold down left mouse button, and they're done.
Okay, cool deal. Okay, now we're gonna go to the inner sphere tech. Okay, and whoever wants to jump in on this, there's so much to do on the inner sphere side. So jump in, whoever wants to jump in on whatever system they want to jump in on it.
You already know what I want to talk about.
Okay, so I guess we'll talk about. Okay, lead the way, man. Bonnie.
Rotaries.
Rotary cannons.
Oh my god. Okay, so my biggest critique right now is PGI. Please, the jam chance, can you? If you have the lower jam chance on a certain mech, fucking make it to where the bar goes up slower and comes down faster. That would be so nice with rotaries. Another thing about rotaries is you probably have up to 4 with 2 different firing groups. I tried 6 on one of my annihilators just for shits and giggles. Really? Fuck off, bird. Anyway.
You have an entire menagerie at your house.
You got a zoo at your house, man.
I have a bird, a lizard, 2 fish, and a dog, so
Solid.
I suppose so. But the rotary cannons I love and hate at the same time. I love them because they can shred mechs up. They can shred mechs apart really quickly, but at the same time, the ghost heat's nasty with them. You can get shredded apart really easy. Hang on.
Okay, well, let someone else go ahead and talk then. Who else wants to chip in on the rotary cannons?
Well, I mean, I haven't actually used them. As I got a lot of my rotary out in the PTS, to be perfectly honest. In fact, so much so that I avoided a lot of other guns that I should have been playing with. But I'm really happy they fixed the heat bug that they did. That would
yeah.
Yeah, that would have been
a nightmare.
Needs to be said that it was great they did, but at the same time, there is nothing quite like there's beeping in my ear. There's nothing quite like having two mechs stand off down the lane from you and unload with rotary 5s. Like, holy crap. We used to think that the Kodiak was like a terrifying sight. Well, 2 or 3 of them standing off with rotaries. Luckily, yeah, man. Tracers are amazing.
Oh god, yeah. You know, basically notice there's a lot of like been riflemen's with like a dual RC, dual rack 5s, and I find that the racks, they are good. Don't get me wrong, but they're more of a suppression weapon than anything else. Cause it's really easy to run, and then once they start their wind up, hide behind something. And then once you fire a couple times, jump out from the building. Once the fire stops, shoot them a couple times and jump behind the building when they rack up again. And it's really easy to go and defeat the rack cannons if you just know what you're doing, you know, especially for light mechs.
Yep.
And I mean, that's the easiest thing about them.
Sorry about my bird. I gave him a treat, so I hope he'll shut the hell up. But what I was saying about the racks was lock up so bad, heat gen so bad. Like, sorry, I lost track of thought.
It's okay.
Bird.
It's okay.
Anyway, continue.
Okay, like, you know, like Christian, you want to talk about the racks or
Christian?
Okay.
Well, what happened with Christian actually was he made an interesting video about racks. And he got a lot of feedback, actually, you know, from me as well as reading through his comments. And a lot of people currently are saying that racks are a backup weapon.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing with
that.
Some of the better performing builds I've seen actually was saw a Marauder that had 2 RAC5s and 4 light PPCs, and that worked really, really well. And so there's a lot of room for playing with them still because the meta hasn't developed yet. But I kind of agree that you gotta kind of limit yourself to 2. I ran 3 for a while just to see what it would be like. I ran 3 rotary AC2s and 3 SRM6s on a Cyclops.
Oh yeah.
And it worked really well, but the ghost heat over time just really ate away at it. And so I ended up trying to keep the screen shake by just switching one of the rotaries with an Ultra.
Yep.
And that worked out very well for me. It's just, I don't know, 2 rotary AC5s hurts like hell, as everybody said before. And the screen shake is scary. And it does a good job of spooking people back into cover, but you need to choose your engagements really well, because you draw attention to yourself, and you've got a straight line to trace right back to your mech, and you're going to be facing the same direction for a good while, so you can't really torso twist unless you know that people are about to shoot you, and then you need to stop.
True.
That's the worst part. People forget to torso twist. Like, if there's 3 people that are about to alpha you, it's probably time to stop firing the racks.
Very true, man.
A common build I've been seeing dealing with racks is the champion mauler, just with like 4 rack 2s or 2 rack 5s. A build I use is 2 rack 5s and 2 ER mediums, which is pretty nasty. The first game I played in, I racked around 400 damage and like 3 kills. It's a very nice build, but oh my god, the heat that's generated though is nasty.
Wow. Yeah, it is actually. Okay, so we got the rack cannons. You guys want to delve into the rocket launchers and some other things? I hear laughter there.
I'll tell you, I haven't used them as much as I expected to. Mostly because I've fallen in love with MRMs. So I'll chime in a lot there.
Okay. Okay, that'll be next. Be the MRMs.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I noticed is, did the minimum range thing go through? Yeah, it did, and that bit me in the ass a couple of times because the
50.
shit moment, is usually when there's a light on my ass and I want to make him go away. Unfortunately, he's usually under 50 at the same time.
Yeah, it always does suck.
Yeah.
So anyone else about the rockets? Fun?
I actually haven't touched them.
Yeah, actually, same with me too.
On one mech.
I, for shits and giggles, filled out my my bunny, which is my main archer. It's a big purple and pink archer. You can't miss it. I filled it completely up with 20 rocket launchers instead of my Serum 6s that I usually run. Ran up
so
to
it's
an
a 5W?
Atlas. Yes. Ran
Okay.
up an Atlas and just left click. Killed him, but I also died in the process.
Yeah, it's usually what the point is. I had a Raven with two 20s and two large lasers, I think, with stealth armor. Ran up behind a catapult, shot, it didn't do what I wanted to, and then it's like, oh crap, and so I got to run away. And I think it's a cool weapon for like brawlers, and basically as a one shot, cool. I got a rocket launcher 10 doing 17 points of damage. That's extra 17 points. But overall, though, it's good if you got the space and not as a primary weapon type thing.
Yeah, for sure. It sure feels good to shoot.
Oh god, yeah.
Another one that it's just wow. I do have a question. How do they interact with quirks? Like, do we get missile spread out of them and stuff like that, or is that not? They haven't updated all their quirk stuff, and I assume that they are affected. I mean, I know they wouldn't get the ammo bins quirk, but the missile crit and the missile spread, I would assume they work.
I'm not sure on that. I couldn't even tell you. I mean,
you could check. Is anyone in the mech lab right now?
Yeah, I'm in the mech lab now, actually.
Well, just throw a rocket launcher on a mech with missile quirks and then hover over it and see if...
Got the numbers right.
Because I know that cooldown quirks aren't going to work with it, but...
No. Good point.
Let me go and check real quick and see.
But I would bet money that range quirks would work.
But the thing is, like, all my stuff has a bunch of other quirks like attached to them, though.
Well, that's fine. As
all my
long
loadouts.
If it's got missile quirks from the skill tree, they probably act the exact same as inherent.
Okay, yeah, true. Well, let's see. Heat, max range, optimal range, projectile speed, and missile spread. So yeah, it does affect it.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. That's interesting. Actually,
I don't know if there's a mech that has a shit ton of missile spread quirks, but that would be something to look into.
Well, yeah, definitely. Also trying to get the missile spread nodes. If your main build is just missiles, I mean, obviously you're gonna be running all the missile stuff.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you could find a mech that already has inherently a bunch of missile spread quirks, you can cheese the shit out of people.
True. Okay, so we're gonna get into the elephant of the room, which is streaks. Streaks, yes or no? Just yes and no. Yeah, no.
Dude, way too much tonnage. Like 4.5 for a streak, 6 is too much.
Exactly.
I would run streaks if they were like they were in the beta and only went to the torsos. Then I would run streaks, but not a chance otherwise.
Yeah, true. Okay, so we got. Yeah, so we're good.
Never mind.
Not good, man.
I was gonna try to make a light hunter Kintaro, and even with 55 tons, it was nowhere near enough to carry a decent payload.
Kintaro's. I still gotta go play mine actually. Still gotta do that. yeah. Actually, I'm like a no on the streaks as well too. It's just like I thought it'd be cooler, but it's like, yeah, it's not too good. Yeah. Okay. PPCs, light, heavy, and snub. So what do you guys think?
Ooh.
Snub.
Snub? Well, I gotta say why.
I made a prediction about the light PPCs and light Gauss rifles being really big, which hasn't proven, although the light PPC Marauders and some of that stuff has been really scary. The change they made adding Gauss rifles and PPCs into the same heat bracket kind of
killed it.
Bird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
killed it, man.
It killed a lot of
that said, I have a Vindicator with light PPC and a light Gauss rifle and a RL-15 that is awesome. I did like 500 damage and a couple of kills the first game I dropped in it. Like, what? I haven't ever done that in a Vindicator. Mech just doesn't have those numbers in it, but it's nice. All the jump jets, you just kind of poking around, taking your range shots as much as you can. Lots of ammo for the Gauss rifle because of the smaller shots, more ammo per ton.
Yeah, true. I think I'm using I've been using the lights a lot actually, and the lights have been fun. But 5 points of damage, but it's still a ton for damage wise. It's nice, heat wise, and all that kind of stuff. It's beautiful. It's just at the 5 points of damage. It's like, oh god, you gotta have like 4 of them just to actually do anything. But like I've been running 3 on my arrow, and it's been working halfway decent actually. It's just you just got to really watch it, especially with that 90 minimum range as well too.
I run 2 light PPCs, a light Gauss, and a medium laser on my one of my Uziels, and it's a pretty nasty combo. If you fire the light Gauss and the light PPCs at the same time on a light mech, it'll blow off a component real fast, even though the least amount of damage. Plus, the light Gauss charges so fast compared to the other two, it's nasty if you think about it in that perspective of way.
I did a dual light Gauss gridiron because it has the Gauss cooldown quirks.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's rapid fire. It's so much joy.
Another thing I've been thinking about is when the FAF comes out, are they going to have the giant holes in the chest for the heavy Gausses, or are they going to be giant hard nipples? That's
for the
something
Fafnir?
that's been stuck in my head.
Man.
Yeah, for the Fafnir. They'd better have the giant holes to where it fires out. If not, I'm going to be ranting on forums.
There will be nipples in holes.
Lots of nipples and holes, huh?
Yeah.
Just what we need in a family game.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, actually, like I've been looking at Snubnose too, and Snubnose has been working very well. Just the range and the minimum range has been really killing me. But overall, though, I think the Snubnose, heat-wise and damage-wise, has been pretty good.
I'm gonna go the opposite direction and say the heavy PPCs are by far and away the most effective because you can put them on a jump sniper and essentially be a dual Gauss jump sniper. And you can put that on so many chassis on the inner side.
I
agree with that
fiddle
one.
with that.
Dual heavy. I did the Dragon Slayer. I did Dragon Slayer with dual heavy PPCs and 2 MRM-20s, and just pop-tarted at like the 500 range, and it was godly.
God.
That
Actually,
reminds me, pop-tarting is a thing again.
Oh yeah, it's a big thing now.
Been a thing for a while.
Okay, so we got the PPCs. How about the ER mediums and smalls?
Ooh, so nice.
So
ER
nice.
mediums on everything.
The heat's been killing me though.
I haven't noticed a big heat difference, but that might just be because of my builds. I tend to err towards heat efficiency anyway, so I have a little bit more room to play with when I upgrade to ERs. So I don't tend to do I've got 6 medium lasers and something. I tend to aim for 5 and a couple extra heat sinks, right? Or an extra heat sink instead. So that might be why I haven't noticed it. I've heard people complain about the heat though. So
yeah, I'm exact opposite of you. I lean towards heavy heat, and although some of the mechs, like their medium quirks, stack really hard with the ER range, I just can't bring myself to put ER mediums on a lot of my builds because the heat scares me a little bit. I need to actually test it. I tried it on Stealth Cyclops and it wasn't too horrible, but yeah, the heat just worries me. The problem I'm having is that it seems like people are throwing them on to everything for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
Like, people that have point-blank weapons are putting ER mediums on, which doesn't make sense because you're going to lose the brawl then.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it might just be like early patch, people are throwing shit on just to throw it on, but ERs are going to be the main weapon that become the victim of, I threw it on because I like it, and then it ruined the build.
Very, very, very true. Very true.
By the way, I'm working on a small sketch at the moment of us sitting around a giant table just talking about this. I have Bob on the right with papers in his hands just looking at them. I have Phantom to his right with Lemming sitting on his head as a small lemming wearing a jacket and a commander's cap with like one of those whips in his hand. I have me across from
what?
them with my feet up on the table.
Oh,
Lars
God.
has his head down asleep because he's not here, and then I have Christian sitting on the left,
Solid.
on the left, just looking all cool, just looking at us like, what are we doing?
Okay.
Oh, someone asked me, what is pop-tarting? Pop-tarting
Okay.
is when you jump in the air and at the... Well, you use jump jets to jump into the air, and at the crest of the jump, like as you're right about to drop and the reticle stops shaking, you just fire fucking everything and then fall. And you fall right back under cover, and you're good to go.
Hence
It
Pop-Tarts.
used to be an unholy strategy, but then they started adding reticle shake, and they pretty much skill gated it, so it's not as common, but it's still a thing.
Yep, that's exactly what Pop-Tart is. Like Pop-Tarts in the oven thing, or the toaster oven. Same thing. Boop, pop up, and that's it. So yeah, okay. The LBXs, the Ultras, and the Gauss rifles. Let's go talk about those.
Wins.
We already talked about the
across the
Gausses,
board.
didn't we? Or
I think we talked a little bit about Gauss. I don't know if everyone had a chance though. The Ultras and the LBXs.
Wins
Love 'em.
across the board.
Wins
Love
across the board. Oh yeah, definitely.
My rifleman for the my legend killer has been 4 Ultra 2s now since, and that's a lot of fun. I tried 4 LB2s and 2 light PPCs.
Mm-hmm.
That was also a lot of fun, but didn't have the desired effect of opening things up and critting them out. Didn't quite work the right way. But man, the amount of damage you can put out with 4 Ultra 2s in a very short amount of time is remarkable.
Yeah, true.
Oh, yeah.
True. Like I have to get going on getting some money because I ran out of 57 million, like lickety split, man, and I'm like drooling over like heavy Gauss rifle, my gridiron and the Ultra ACs. I want to put in some mechs. It's like, oh man, I want this stuff so bad, but it's like, damn, I have no money.
I'm wiped out. I know I'm wiped out. I was saying it before, like with this first with the skill patch, and even though I played a lot, I hadn't mastered as many of my mechs as I could have, so I had to use a lot of my HSP to kind of fill out the ones I wanted to use.
Okay.
Especially with trying some of the new ones, and I went and dumped a bunch into javelins, which was really dumb. But my goal was to try the mechs that hadn't done well before the skill patch to see if they had done better.
Yeah, true.
Right,
True.
and so the Victors did well. The Maulers felt really good. The Elo Maulers were great before, but for different reasons.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, long story short, I spent a lot of my money, and
Yeah,
now
same
this
here.
comes around, and I'm going, oh, okay, what mechs haven't I driven?
I had 85 ready, 85 mil. I'm already down to like 29 now, I think.
Dude, I had 57. I have 191,000 right now. So I'm broke as hell. But yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Dude, the light engine.
Sounds like we need to go grind some money after this, guys.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, light engines. What's really killing me because I bought I think like 10 of them, and it's like, oh god, these things are so freaking crazy cool. So
Well, the worst part is if you pick the wrong engine on the first try, then you save the build.
oh yeah,
Great. Now I've got that in my storage.
true.
I
Okay.
bought 300 lights because I knew that's where it was going to be. My biggest light engine, all my 300 standard brawler mechs and
Yeah.
heavies and stuff. My Marauders all have standard 300s. I think I upgraded all of them. Stuff
Yeah,
like
auto light engine isn't very light at all.
that.
Well, it's better
Yeah.
than the standard. You know, basically, I had a bunch of
Well,
standard builds.
Halfway in between the XL and the standard,
In
right?
theory, it's
By the way, I posted the drawing I'm working on in the Discord chat.
Okay, let me and you cut out, man.
Lemming
I
cut out.
said
Did we
drawing
lose
is
Lemming?
in Discord.
Oh.
No, Bonnie, you're fine. Lemming cut out.
Yeah, let me cut out. Oh well. He'll come back. Yeah, the light engines. I've been enjoying these.
User in your channel timed out.
Oh,
And down.
and down. I guess the internet got him.
Yeah, that happened to him last night.
Oh, geez, that sucks. Yeah. Like I've been having some issues too with the game just going me out basically. But light engines, I love them. These things are just a game changer. I can't torso check anybody now because I don't know what they have, especially Intersphere mechs, because usually Interspheres, like before the patch, use XL engines, and you torso check him. Just okay, shoot the right torso, boom, boom, boom. I guess he has one, and boom, he goes down. If not, you got to fire again. But light engine's been definitely a game changer, man.
Yep. Absolutely.
We got the LBX. Deviant says, I wish the LBX took one less slot to fit in torso with the light engines. Definitely agree with that one. God, I wish that was like that. Because I can fit 2 10s. No, actually, I can't fit 2 10s. Yeah, I can fit 1 10 and that's it. Now, with a light engine for my Marauder, the 3R. So any other type of tech things? How it yeah, actually, like Lemon died, is now gone.
MRMs.
Yes, MRMs.
MRM, sorry. Okay,
Oh boy,
MRMs. MRMs, you got to go ahead and talk about that.
Okay, my buddy
User entered
took
your
his
channel.
Tempest and he put 2 MRM 20s and a couple of medium lasers and walked out and did like 1,000 damage 3 or 4 games in a row.
Oop,
It
sorry
didn't even
about
break
that.
a sweat. It was
okay, Lemmy.
disgusting. And so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I mean, he's a little bit better with that style than I am. I'll give it a shot. I have never seen a mech die as fast as that Zeal that I stepped around the corner and fed him 2 MRM 20s. And it was like everything above the legs just disappeared.
Do you think they need to nerf it or something, or what?
Just a pair of legs in the bottom of a torso walking
I'm
toward you
not-
like, where'd my body go?
Oh yeah, no, it was they were picking armor pieces out of the wall. The mining collective cleanup crew. It was wow. I'm not sure that it's too good. They have some pretty serious DPS in the 40s. Like it might well be the highest DPS.
Mm-hmm.
Lemming was saying, and I can see that.
So,
The ghost heat's set at 60 on them.
Yeah.
You can't run 240s.
You know
heat
what? It doesn't
is-
hurt as
yeah.
bad as I thought it would. Firing them both.
Firing 240s on the catapult spiked it to about 30%, and that was it.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So
It's not terrible.
Not
but-
terrible at all.
With heat quirks and stuff like that, that 30% drops quick.
Yep.
And that's 80 instant damage, so I'll take that.
So I'm starting to look at more and more of my mechs where I can swap MRMs in, because a friend of mine actually found an Atlas that worked with an MRM 40 and an LB 20 and some lasers, and he's loving it.
I still got to
just wrecking shop.
Yeah. I still have to use a Bushwhacker S2, and I have I have 3 MRM 10s and the 2 air medium lasers, and I switched out my SRM 6s for that. I just want to see how that works. I mean, 30 points of damage of like missiles coming at you be kind of scary sometimes too, especially with the cooldown of well, I don't know, 4.3 I guess, but still, then you got the ER like medium lasers as well. I want to try them out.
I'm gonna throw something out there that remember the last time we met and we said our end of podcast predictions. I said racks and MRMs are gonna be incredible on assault mechs.
Yeah,
it is absolutely true, and I think that's one of the things that's going to end up happening. They're going to put ghost heat on racks with MRMs, because I built a king crab with an XL 325, 2 rack 5s, 2 MRM 20s, and 2 lasers. Within the space of about 4 seconds, it deals 200 damage.
wow.
Yeah.
So I literally come around the corner, I locate the target that's squared up. 4 seconds later, I've done 200 damage, and it's impossible to trade against unless there's multiple mechs there. Actually, I have the video of me backing down an entire firing line in tunnel on that crab because there's so much explosions, there's so much screen shake happening that you can't return fire for shit.
And everyone
You
freaks
are
out.
You are instantly forced defensive. You can't see the mech that's shooting you. All you see is fire and explosions, and it's untradeable with. The only way to handle a mech like that is to focus it with other mechs that are, you know, on the flanks. But on a one-on-one or even a, I think in the video it was like a Zeus, an Atlas, and something heavy, or maybe another assault. There's 3 of them, and you know they start like walking down the tunnel like 3 abreast, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna fuck shit up. And I just poke. 4 seconds later, all 3 of them collapsed, single file, running back. And that's, I think, something that people are gonna have to be aware of. The MRMs, like, to address the salient point here,
Yeah.
MRMs are incredible. They're by far and away my favorite weapon system so far on the IS side. I've replaced LRMs on almost all my builds, and I love it.
I haven't
Fantastic.
messed with MRMs yet, but I've definitely fought them, and they fucking are.
They're scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Same here. They're very scary.
Yeah, so I
Especially-
think we're gonna see Ghost Heat coming into play soon for MRMs and racks, because combined together they synergize so well. And
Cyclopses are. The Cyclopses with all the MRMs. I ran into one earlier while playing my ass, which I haven't touched in forever, by the way. He tore off my right torso so quick, and I have about 50, no, more than 50, probably like 60, 70 armor on my right torso, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And I looked,
Yep.
he had like all these MRMs, and I'm like, oh, well, shit.
True. So we went to light engines. How about all the other tech, like the stealth armor and the other stuff? And real quick, and then we'll take some questions from the audience there.
Targeting computers?
Target computers, like whatever you want to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's a welcome. Those couple extra tons, one way or another, where it's like, well, I have 1 ton and I don't have enough slots, which is happening more and more with the weirdly slotted stuff.
Yeah.
I've found lots of room for level 2 or level 3 targeting computer. I'm liking it.
Like you see this 8-ton piece of technology. This can save your life on that 12-ton mech of yours.
I know.
I mean, you can only fit 2 machine guns, but hey, definitely can crit somebody out of them. Oh my god.
My prediction was Light Pharaoh would be the best thing ever for all those builds that just have weird slot alignments.
Yeah.
Yep.
And oh my god, it's great. I love Light Pharaoh.
No, same here, man. Almost all my builds have it now.
I've turned around on it. I was a little not sure in the last podcast, but using it lots.
Yeah. Even on the Kintaro, actually, I adjusted it. You know, my favorite Kintaro, I was playing it with Team Redshirt, and the thing was that putting a light engine in it and putting Light Pharaoh in it just made it so much better. Because now you have extra tons to play with, you got more. You actually can use all 78 slots, which is just, it's a lot better, just say.
Okay.
Where did I get cut off in my
It was
light engine rant?
about like 10 minutes ago.
I got cut
right
off
at the
talking
beginning.
about. Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's half the bonus for the same drawbacks as a Clan XL.
Yeah.
Which I don't like personally. So having 40% heatsink reduction when you're not getting the same tonnage reduction that a Clan XL provides seems a bit much. I don't know if that's just me being weird, but if you're gonna take away the same amount as the Clan, then I want at least a little bit more bonus than half of what an XL engine gives. It just doesn't seem right. I don't know if anyone else had any thoughts on that. If it was just too good for Innersphere, or
I haven't run into many builds that go, this will not work if I don't have a light engine. There's not enough weight for a standard and not enough slots for a XL. Like, I haven't run into that, so I don't know for sure whether it's just like, well, I saw a Warhammer that ran a light engine, a couple AC5s, a couple of large lasers, and 2 heavy machine guns. And it's like the weirdest build ever, but it does a ton of damage. I was like, okay, I'll try that out. But you could do the same thing if you wanted to put a few more large lasers on and run with a standard engine, or a few mediums, downgrade your larges. So I don't know. I'm not sure they have, how would I say, they're not game breaking. Like, they're not, everyone who's in an XL is not going to be switching to a light.
Yeah.
But most people who already run a standard will consider looking at a light, because they can get a little bit more speed out of their build without changing anything else.
True.
So, I don't know. Oh, we got someone in your chat, Bob, asking about rotor AC2s. And I would say, Ethereal, we talked about it right off the hop. The general consensus is they're pretty good. I don't know if anyone wants to...
More of a support weapon. Like anything
More
else.
support weapon than anything else.
Yeah, definitely. Okay,
Why bring a rack 2 and you can bring a rack 5 for 2 extra tons and double the DPS?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Another question. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we'll take some questions from the audience there. Any questions you want to ask? Could be like any, hopefully it'd be Mechwarrior like related, please. And basically about the new tech, like the new mechs. Anything we're going to ask? Like everyone, Christian is definitely a really good person to ask about any type of meta builds, and everyone else has all the different aspects of the game itself. So ask away, people. Ask away, like everyone. And then we'll keep on talking until we get some questions. So let's talk about actually the mechs themselves for another about about 5 or 6 minutes or so. So and go from there. Like the Uziel. Okay, let's talk about the Uziel then.
Don't run XLs in them.
Yeah, exactly.
That might be the mech that makes me say this build demands a light engine.
Oh, definitely so, man. I just
Yeah.
wish they had some armor quirks on them, though, to tell you the truth.
I don't even own them, and I've noticed how easy it is to blow their side torsos right on off.
Exactly.
So-
That one you could definitely torso check.
Shoulder armor quirks would be so fucking nice for these things. Oh my god. I mean, half of actually all of my Uziels now, I've put all the armor skills up for them. Like,
Yeah.
I've blown through all the nodes I can on just armor skills for my Uziels and just buffed the shoulders as much as I could. Because you can't fit a build that you really want to use in an Uziel. Like, for example, for Lucky, which is my Uziel 3S, I have 2 heavy PPCs and 6 jump jets, and I have an XL 300 with 2 double heat sinks, and I've got as much fucking shoulder armor as I can compared to the CT armor, which is a dumb thing to do, but, you know, survivability, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how about the Annihilator, guys?
Very mixed opinions on those from everyone. Some people say it's DOA, other people say they love it.
There's one word to define the Annihilator.
I really want one.
Thick.
It's thick. It's the
only way.
definition of a fatty. Yeah.
It's the definition.
Yeah.
Got a nice chest. It's got nice hips. And it has that booty.
And has a periscope head.
So, for those of you curious, we did some testing. It's the big window, not the little tiny window.
Oh, big window for the head?
Periscope head.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
It's the biggest possible target. You aim right at the front of that thing, you're hitting a headshot.
Oh, man.
I think I've got 2 headshots now on Annihilators from across the map with my Lemonhead Uziel, which is armed with a light Gauss, 2 light PPCs, and a medium laser.
How does that feel?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I tell you, nerdgasm, man. Nerdgasm, like right there.
The worst part is my 2 favorite mechs out of this drop are the Annihilator and the Magcat Mark II. The Annihilator I simply love because I love big guns, and this is the definition of a big gun. Like, if there was an Annihilator beside me, I just walk up and hug the leg. I'm like, I love you, because there's nothing more that makes me smile than seeing a Locust run by and me just clicking left trigger and it just flopping on the ground. There's no bigger smile that comes on my face when I see that, because it incinerates lights and most medium mechs because of the one shot that it has. Like, I mean, fucking the stock 2A comes with quad LBX-10, and the stock 1A comes with quad AC-10. Like, you can't get any better than that. Like, come on.
That feels great.
Okay.
It hurts to get shot, though.
How about
I do want to say.
Oh, go ahead, Jen.
This is something that we got right into weapons, and we didn't talk about any of the other stuff that came with the Civil War. Aside from a really cool looking new faction play map, if anyone's seen it.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge faction play guy, but it's cool to see they're doing something with that.
Something
and
is
have
good.
2 new clans.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too. Yeah. They still need to make Clan Wolverine. Clan Wolverine.
I need to know from you guys.
They got
I've
nuked,
asked
though.
around. Does anyone care about Clan Steel Viper?
Not really.
No.
Well, my question is, if we're seeing Nova Cat and Steel Viper, why do we still have Smoke Jaguar? Because they're gone now.
Well, Operation Bulldog.
Completely.
Yeah, Operation Bulldogs. Yeah, not yet though. Bulldog happened in like '59, right?
Well, it would have been
59 to 62.
Yeah. By the time the Civil War happened, they were done.
Yeah, but this isn't Civil War. In fact, I actually argued with Russ 3057. It's like, well, the Uzil came out in 3065. The Rat Cannons came in 3066. Oh, okay.
I think he probably did. Yeah.
Well, the map says.
Covfefe.
Yeah. I argued with him about that, but yeah. I was like, Russ, come on, man.
That's weird.
It's
That's
okay.
weird.
He only responds to praise.
That's not true. He responds to me, and he hates me because well, you know that story. I won't say it, but I won't say it on air.
You're just known at the office.
I have one thing to say about the Annihilator, which I think is gonna lead into the next wave of balance changes. The Annihilator for me is Direwolf 2.0.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The speed.
And the problem with Direwolf 2.0 is the same as Direwolf 1.0, is that the max size of 300 leaves it super vulnerable to being focus fired and out of position. So I think the next wave you're going to see adjustments to mobility on the 100-tonners, because they're either going to have to increase their mobility and agility to let them bring their guns to bear easier and also rotate damage a little bit easier, or they're gonna, the route I would go is give them armor quirks, more armor quirks, make them be a bastion of the team's push.
Yeah.
And like let 100-tonners actually go out there and lead the charge like assault mechs are supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like in BattleTech, that's when you see the assault mechs step onto the battlefield.
You're scared.
Yeah.
Everyone's attention is drawn to that mech because you know if you let it stay operational, it will lay waste to your entire lands. You cannot ignore it. It is a death machine. It requires everyone's attention immediately. And for the meta, and you know, some of it's all interconnected, because knife fighting light mechs, as much as I lament the fact that playstyle is dead, I think it's good for gameplay because it discourages NASCAR. And specifically, it ties to the fact that long-range weapons like my 6 ER Large Laser Nova can now stop a NASCAR on certain maps by itself. I will take the high ground with jump jets, and from 900 meters, you will not touch me, and I will stop your NASCAR entirely. Before, an Arctic Cheetah would have jumped on me and fucking destroyed me, but it doesn't happen anymore. And I think it's good for gameplay. It lets people do more of a tactical approach to the topography, like where do we want to go on the map based on, you know, what weapons groups we're carrying and, you know, what players we have, instead of slam that W button and hold it down and just run as fast as you can. Doesn't matter where you're going, as long as you're running faster than the other team, eventually you'll win.
Well, especially if you overrun the assaults, yeah.
Yeah, and that playstyle, the new playstyle, where NASCAR's not as effective, I think is good, but I still feel for the 100-tonners because they are out of position, even in a meta that doesn't revolve as heavily around NASCAR as it used to. I still feel for them because a lot of times they're caught out still. They're out of position, and, you know, it just feels bad, man. Like, I don't know if you guys have dropped in a dire recently. Like, it fucking sucks ass.
Well, if you're in group queue, yeah, it sucks ass. Solo queue is slow as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
definitely me. Last night when Bob was streaming, I was the only 100-ton on our team, and
we left him.
Yeah. I was left behind, and by the time I finally got to the fight, the whole enemy team basically stopped aiming for everyone on my team and just turned and just point blank dead. Like, I didn't even get completely over saddle in Crimson Strait. I was just gone because I got incinerated by the whole enemy team because of how slow I was. And I have the max engine you could put in an Annihilator.
Yeah,
so,
300. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a big issue, actually.
Pissed. I was...
when I'm in solo queue, I can run 280s in my 100-tonners and surpass the team because of the amount of scared gameplay there is right now.
Scared gameplay.
Everyone's playing derpy. You're right.
But
oh yeah,
when
yeah.
you get to group queue where everyone is in Mad Cat MK2s now, which is they're becoming meta as fuck, especially the Death Strike.
They're so tough.
And the issue is that you can't keep up in group queue because everyone's trying to do their own little NASCAR thing and you get annihilated. Then you go over to solo queue, and you can get to the front and you can push, but no one will follow because they get to a corner and then they give up.
Oh, jeez. That's definitely true, man. Yeah, there's been a lot of, like, assault, like, with the new stuff, because everyone's, just like you talked about, guys, they're throwing weapons on their mechs to see how they do, and then, like, obviously, like Amanda Lemmy, like, with your video, one guy said you should just kill yourself because you had 15 tag lasers, but you're just, doing derpy, but it's just... There's so much salt now. Like, I've even encountered it, and I don't usually encounter that kind of stuff that much. And it's like, wow, dude, it's it's crazy
now. Fucking game, chill the hell out. That's why they made competitive. Go over there if you want to be a bitch. Goddamn, let us have fun. We're potatoes for a reason.
Well, it's gonna take about a week or two for the builds start evening out, and I'm sure like Molten Metal's gonna make some, and everyone else gonna start making builds and say, okay, well here's what this is the best one used for that type of stuff.
Well, and then basically after a patch, it's always that salty. That was the perfect time for me to run a 15-tag Direwolf. Because that's when all the really, really competitive players that are playing the game, not because they want to, but because they're obliged to for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've played it for so long, I played it since the beta, and I need to come back, I need to do the event, that kind of shit. You don't need to play a game. And then... they don't realize that, and they get in there, and then they feel like shit. They don't like playing the game because they're not having fun, and it's completely illogical.
Okay. Oh man.
But give it.
Whereas a 16-tag Direwolf isn't.
Give it a week after the patch, and it'll fall apart. Like, people go back to whatever the fuck they're playing, probably CS:GO or something like that at this point.
Oh man. Okay, so we'll do with the closing argument or closing remarks, not arguments, but like remarks. So we'll go around the table. So Christian, just anything that's on your chest about anything about the new tech.
I think rotaries are gonna take the longest time to sort out. They're like, I would love to be able to make an argument at this point, like I did earlier, for taking Ghost Heat off the Rack 2s and Rack 5s, so you could run 2 Rack 2s, 2 Rack 5s, but having paired them with MRMs, I know no mech really carries enough tonnage to do Rack 2s, Rack 5s, and MRMs, but I can see now the strength of the Rack 5 and its suppressive ability. And the DPS is very good, there's no doubt about it, and I'm kind of backpedaling away from that idea. I think the weapon systems are fine. Maybe the 2s need a little bit of work, but that's going to be an ongoing issue for a long time. Racks are just going to be very hard to nail down in a good spot where they're not broken one way or the other. As far as the other tech, I feel like it gives people, just like I said in the last podcast, I'm happy that people have much greater access to choices to make builds work for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about MRMs and racks being paired together because 200 points in damage in 4 seconds that you cannot trade against. If you're the mech being shot, you can't return fire. You can't see the mech. You can't do anything. Your cockpit's shaking all over the place. It's impossible. I think that's going to be something to really take a close eye, or keeping a close eye on. As far as the rest of the stuff, I feel like it's more or less in a pretty good spot. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
I think they did good.
Okay, we'll go with the body then. Any thoughts and stuff like that? Just real quick, man, because we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, I know. So to be honest, light engines are not light. Rotaries need to have the quirk where it's a less jam chance, and the annihilator is thick. That's my thoughts. Just to wrap it up quick for you, Bob.
Okay. Okay. And Lemming, the Beam, the Legend. What do you think, man?
I say give it a little bit more time for meta to form, then people will be a little bit less angry.
Yeah.
And then it just, I don't really know, actually. That's just about it. I mean, give it time, really. That's all you just need to do. Test, trial and error. Trial and error sucks in this game because it's expensive, but
God, yeah.
that's the only way to really get to it. And the more you use the new tech, the more you'll have in your storage. So hopefully it'll get less expensive.
Over time, yeah, true. Okay, and Team Redshirt, what do you think, man?
Well, I was actually hoping to get to this a little bit earlier, but it's part of the patch notes that they put out, and it kind of bugs me a bit. It's the new weapons and visual retrofitting they did. Now, so basically they just right off the hop said most of the mechs don't have visuals to go with the new weaponry. We just put out a whole boatload of new weapons, and they didn't want to take the time to just make sure that all it worked or looked right on all the mechs. I just don't understand that.
Well, you know how much of a pain in the ass that is,
I absolutely
modeling-wise?
know. You're right. I mean, I'm not a programmer. I know that that's a lot of work, but I mean, presentation, guys, you're putting out. It's a big patch. Do all the work for it.
Well,
I don't know. It just
aesthetically. So thinking about it, the way that this patch would look to a new player wouldn't really be any different. If you're new and you're coming into Mechwarrior, you put an RAC on something and it looks like an Ultra AC, you wouldn't know that because
Yeah.
you don't know the difference.
You're new. It's just there's a cannon on there.
A cannon.
No. Some
Big
of them,
gun.
like some of them, like the Mad Cat, has like PPCs that point upward.
They fixed that.
They
The
fixed
hotfix
it?
fixed that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, as long as they've done the visuals around the mechs that were purchasable in this patch, I'm okay with that because now they've got hundreds, well, probably about 200 maybe, mechs to run through and individually kind of place things and make sure that there's no clipping issue. And it's as I'd rather they focus on mechanics than aesthetics.
I just feel like it's not too much to ask that they show up on all the mechs when they're trying to showcase all their new tech. That's all. It's just, I mean, we're putting all the work to program the little bits. Let's just get it all done.
Well, they're going to do it like over the
much
next
to
patches.
showcase it,
It
really.
felt like
That's the worst
weird.
part.
It felt like a weird, like, we cut this corner because we wanted to make sure it got out. It's like, no, just do it.
Yeah. Well, next patches they will though.
Well,
yeah.
In future patches starting in August. So when is that? When they balance the mech, then they'll do it.
Yeah.
Is it going to be we'll do one a month and then this time next year we're halfway through? Like, there's no. It doesn't feel right to me. That's all.
Well, I mean, we're talking about PGI, you know, basically.
I mean,
yeah.
Then again, like you say that they're showcasing it, and they're really not. They're doing nothing to advertise
goal may not be to showcase it, but I don't see why you wouldn't.
I want them to, definitely showcase this big update for like, oh, it's the revival of Mechwarrior, and then put that shit out on Steam, and then try to attract more people through Steam. But they did none of that.
They didn't do that either.
I would really focus on bringing back the old players because, I mean, Steam's cool and all, but I feel like a lot of the complaints of the original founders that no longer play have been addressed. You know, the NASCAR big engine stomp meta is fading away. The clan tech is more in line than it's ever been. Time to kill is higher than it's ever been, with the exception of certain monsters like MRM Rack King Crabs right now that you know people are going to figure out sooner or later, but it's going to get brought into line too. I would, if I was Russ, and I may just hit him up on LinkedIn and send him a message.